What's going on, YouTube? Before I get into this video, man, y'all make sure y'all go like, comment, share, and subscribe to my channel. But this next movie I'm about to get into, in my honest personal opinion, is one of Will Smith's best pieces of work. I mean, I know he got a lot of classic movies, but to me, this really hit home on like how versatile this dude can be, from like playing Fresh Prince to this character. This movie called The Pursuit of Happyness. It came out in 2006. He has his son Jaden playing in it with him, and Jaden was still like a little boy when this came out. But it's about this man named Chris Gardner. Now, he wants to be a entrepreneur. He got like these little machines he was selling, but they wasn't doing so well. And then he ended up falling off bad with them, like getting into debt. And he's just really going through like very rough patch in his life. Like his girl just left him, and she wanted to take his son, and he's like, I don't care what the situation is, like, you're not taking my child. So she just ends up abandoning both of them and just leaving. Now, he still trying to pay his rent, raise his son, and still sell these machines, and still not like end up going under. And like this movie, it's actually stressful to watch, because like this dude could not catch a break on this movie. Like it's like everything that could possibly go bad went bad. But he basically was trying to be a stockbroker at this company. And like when he told his wife before she left he wanted to do it, she kind of like laughed, like, really? Like, I think she said, what, you don't want to be an astronaut? Like basically just like spitting in his face on his dreams. Like stuff like this I know happens all the time, where like somebody got a big dream and can't nobody else see it but you. And this is like the perfect example. Like, you can't let nobody tear your dreams down. And it's a scene on this movie where like his son playing basketball, and his son said he want to go to the NBA, and his daddy like, nah, don't be focusing on that. I don't want you playing with this basketball stuff too much. Like, you need to go get you like a real career. And his son kind of just like got mad, didn't want to play basketball no more. That's when the reality hit him. Like the same thing your wife did to you, now you're doing it to your son. And then he kind of snapped out of it and was like, don't let nobody tell you you can't do something. If you want to do it, go out and don't even let me tell you you can't do something. And I'm like, that's so real. Like, I don't even care if your parents don't think you can accomplish what you want to accomplish. Like, you could be anything you want if you willing to work for it. And he shows it in this movie. But like this dude, bruh, it shows how mentally strong Chris Gardner was, because he ended up being homeless. Like, him and his son had to go to like a homeless shelter, and he's still trying to sell these machines. He's still trying to climb up the ladder at this company, and they're not even paying him. Like, can you imagine trying to move up in a company and they're not even paying you, and you already in poverty, and you got a child that has to go to daycare, and you by yourself, like your girl just left? Do you know how stressful that could be? And when I was watching this movie, like, I was a kid when I first seen this movie, and I was glued to the TV, because I was like, this was just like great acting. It was a great storyline. I didn't even know this was based on a true story. I swear I did not know. I'm like, like somebody really went through this. Then I feel like the saddest part on this movie was he was in the bathroom, like sitting on the floor with his child, like in a I think it was in a Subway, and he was just basically trying to make his son think like they were just like on an adventure, like still trying to be a good father, and y'all homeless. And it'll make you really sit back and think, like, when you going through something, are you really going through it? Because all you got to do is compare yourself to somebody like this in this movie, and I feel like you will appreciate what you got more. Him and his son in the bathroom, it's like people trying to come in and use the bathroom. He got his son in his arm. They got toilet paper all over the floor, because they basically going to sleep in there. He got his foot on the door, basically, and they're finna cry himself to sleep. I'm like, bro, This movie is just so sad. Like, I can't believe this dude even went through this. This is during like the era where the Rubik's Cube came out, and Chris is trying to show one of the dudes that he's working up on to like how smart he is. So it's just like the Rubik's Cube. I wasn't born around this time, but it was probably like a phenomenon when it first came out. Like, can anybody figure this out? So while he riding in the car with this guy, he's trying to like really sell a pitch, trying to get in the door of the business, but the dude not even paying him no attention. Like, he just trying to figure out this Rubik's Cube. So Chris Gardner just takes the cube from him, and they got like a minute and a half until the stop. This dude just starts twisting and turning it, and he's figuring it out. And the dude was like, "No, we're gonna keep riding until you figure it out, because you getting really close." He ends up figuring the Rubik's Cube out and giving it to him. I don't care how poor somebody look. If you just figured out a Rubik's Cube in like 2 to 3 minutes, I think I would want you working for me. That's just me. Like, he just kind of looked at him like he was impressed. I'd be like, man, I'm finna hire this dude, because obviously you very intelligent. Like, that should have told you enough. But it's like the dude, he still was like, oh, that was cool, appreciate it, and just walked off. But my absolute favorite part of this movie, at the end, where they finna finally pick who they going with as the person. Like, they got so many people, and it's like, your chances are really slim to none. Even though he's still going for it, and it's people probably way more qualified than him, because he said, like, they want to know, all right, what is your education after high school? He didn't even have an education after high school. I know it was people in there with like 4, 6, 10-year degrees, and you just a high school graduate. And you probably in a worse position than everybody. They told him to come into the office, and they said, we see you got on a nice suit today, because he was coming in there looking raggedy and crazy every other day. But then the dude told him, wear a suit tomorrow if you plan on working with us. Dog, when I tell you, that gave me like a relief for him. Like, I feel like you have to go watch the scene that I'm talking about. Like, when Will Smith gets the job and you just see the emotion running out of him, I'm like, that shows you, like, you could really accomplish anything you want to if you put your mind to it. And I heard when this movie came out, the real Chris Gardner was in the theater, and they say he ran out the theater watching Will Smith perform this, because you just watched this man play your entire life, the good, the bad, the ugly, poverty, sleeping in bathrooms, and then you watched him play you make it to the top. They say he got up and just walked out the theater or ran out the theater. I can't even imagine how you feel watching your entire life story played by Will Smith, and then you actually made it. That's why it's called The Pursuit of Happyness, because the whole time he going through all this hell, even though he's finna be a rich man, he still was chasing happiness. It wasn't even about the money. The money was going to secure him. It was the happiness he was chasing. And that's why after he got the job, he just was like pacing back and forth in front of all these people. And he was like, this part of my life is called happiness. Just like everything you went through, you finally caught your big break. And I still will say to this day, I know Will Smith got a lot of classics, but to me, this is one of his best performances. And it just shows how versatile Will Smith can be. But yeah, The Pursuit of Happyness, to me, it's underrated. It does not get talked about enough. But if you have not seen this movie, it would not be a waste of your time. Like, I promise you it would not be a waste of your time. And I don't know if he won an Oscar for this, but he definitely should have been nominated for one. But yeah, I'm gone.